You wake up on a Tuesday morning. The house feels a little quieter than it used to. Maybe you look in the mirror and notice lines that weren't there a decade ago. Perhaps you find yourself walking through a room, staring at family photos, children who have grown, friends who have moved on, and a version of you from 20 years ago that feels like a stranger. You aren't losing your mind. You are simply feeling the weight of time. It's a heaviness in the chest that comes when you realize the life you built, the career, the busy schedule, the constant noise has shifted into something entirely new. And maybe, sometimes, that silence feels a little bit like loneliness. If you know that feeling, the quiet ache of looking back while trying to navigate the present, this video is for you. Welcome to Buddha's Path to Peace. I want to say something that society often tells you to ignore. It is okay to not be over it. Often, the world tells us that as we get older, we should just keep busy or move on from the things we've lost. But there is a difference between moving forward and just suppressing the past. You don't have to pretend that life doesn't change. You don't have to pretend that you don't miss the way things were. What you are feeling isn't a problem to be fixed. It isn't a failure of your character. It is actually a testament to how deeply you have loved. Think about it. Grief is really just love with nowhere to go. You are carrying the weight of memories, responsibilities, and connections, and it is exhausting. You've spent decades holding on to things, holding on to roles, holding on to expectations, holding on to the idea of who you should be. And now, the natural rhythm of life is asking you to set some of that down. There is a concept in Buddhist philosophy called Anicca, or simply impermanence. It sounds like a big, philosophical word, but let's look at it through the lens of a river. Imagine a river. The water you touch today is not the same water you touched a moment ago. The river is constantly flowing, constantly shifting, never the same, yet it is always the river. Your life is exactly like that. We often try to build a dam in that river. We want to stop the water so we can stay in the good old days. We want to stop the water to keep our children young, to keep our health steady, to keep our identities fixed. But when you build a dam, the water stagnates. It stops flowing. Anicca teaches us three things. Everything is in flux. Clinging to the now as if it can last forever creates the very pain we are trying to avoid. Freedom comes not from stopping the river, but from learning how to swim in it. This is the ultimate takeaway. The goal is not to stop the change. The goal is to stop the resistance. There is a story, over 2,000 years old, that speaks directly to this. It's the story of a woman named Kisa Gotami. Kisa Gotami had everything she loved, and then, in a blink of an eye, she lost it. The grief was so consuming, so heavy, that she lost her way. She couldn't accept the reality of her loss. She carried the weight of her grief from house to house, begging for a medicine, a miracle, to bring back what she had lost. She knocked on door after door. People looked at her with pity, some with confusion, some with fear. Finally, she met the Buddha. She begged, "Please, help me fix this. Please bring back what I have lost." The Buddha didn't say, "You're wrong." He didn't say, "Stop crying." He said, "I can help you, but first you must bring me a handful of mustard seeds from a house where no one has ever known loss." Kisa Gotami was relieved. A handful of mustard seeds? That was easy. She went to the first house. Do you have mustard seeds? Yes. Has anyone in this house ever died? The family looked at her, saddened, and said, yes, we have lost a father, a mother, a child. She went to the second house. The same story. The third. The fourth. Every house she visited, she found the same truth, the same river of loss, the same cycle of change. And at that moment, sitting by the roadside, exhausted and empty-handed, Kisa Gotami realized the truth. It wasn't about the seeds. It was about the realization that she was not alone. The grief she carried was the human experience. And in that realization, the grip of her suffering began to loosen. You might be wondering, what does that have to do with me? You aren't knocking on doors looking for mustard seeds, but look closely at your own life. Are you still knocking on doors, trying to get back a version of your life that no longer exists? Are you asking the world, why did this happen to me? When everyone around you, everyone who has ever lived, is also navigating their own version of loss, change, and aging. That desire to return to the past, to hold on to how it was, is exactly the same energy Kisa Gotami spent walking village to village. It is a search for an impossible solution. But what if you stop knocking? What if you recognized that the change you are feeling is simply part of being human? When you realize that you aren't the only one walking this path, the isolation begins to fade. You are not an exception to the rule of life. You are a part of it. Let's be honest for a moment. You've been asking, is it wrong that I'm struggling? Is it weak that I can't just be happy with retirement or with these changes? The answer is, you are allowed to struggle. You are allowed to feel the ache. Here are 3 things your grief is actually trying to tell you, if you're willing to listen. It is telling you that you had something worth loving. It is telling you that you are still alive, still capable of feeling deeply, even when it hurts. It is telling you that you are ready for a new chapter, even if you are terrified of reading the first page. You don't have to fix yourself. You just need to hold yourself with the same compassion you would offer a dear friend. You are allowed to be a work in progress. Before we finish, I want to give you a simple practice, something you can do right here, right now. Sit comfortably, let your shoulders drop, feel your feet on the floor. Now, take a deep breath in. As you exhale, imagine you are holding a handful of sand. You know that if you squeeze your hand, you lose the sand. But if you open your hand, the sand is still there, resting in your palm, safe but free. Repeat these words in your mind. I am the river, not the bank. This moment is changing, and I am changing with it. I am here. I am enough. Now, simply rest. Let the breath come and go. No need to do anything else. Just like the river, this video is coming to an end. The moment we shared here will soon be a memory. But remember the story of Kisa Gotami. It wasn't the seeds that brought her peace. It was the acceptance of the truth. You don't need a miracle to find peace in your later years. You just need to realize that you are already part of the flow. You are safe. You are held. Go gently into the rest of your day. If this video gave you even a moment of peace, consider subscribing to Buddha's Path to Peace. We are building a community here, for those who want to navigate these years with grace and wisdom. Next video, we are talking about the art of forgiving yourself, specifically regarding the regrets of the past. If you've ever felt like you missed your chance to be who you wanted to be, you'll want to be here for that. You can find our playlist on mindful aging on your screen now. I'll see you there.